Good day everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Doomwaves here with another kind of a mixed up video. First I want to talk about a couple of games that I beat recently, and they're not exactly the type of games that I can review very easily, if you call it what I do reviewing. It's just kind of a opinions video, but it's a couple of shoot 'em ups, so it's a little bit harder to, I don't know, make a video, I guess, about them, just because, I don't know, you just go and shoot. So since I've beat a couple now, I figured I would just kind of talk about them a little bit briefly. The first one I beat a while back, and just haven't got around to making a video about it or anything. And like I said, it's not something that I can talk a whole lot about, something you just kind of have to experience. And that first game is Akai Katana for the Xbox 360. This is an amazing shoot 'em up. It's kind of the bullet hell style, which is very popular in Japan. Very colorful and very difficult to play this game and actually be good at it. And if you don't know what a bullet hell is, it's a shoot 'em up. You know, it's just in this case, it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, and basically the entire screen is filled with bullets. And the object of the game, of course, is to destroy what's shooting you, but more like avoid dying. Now, in most cases in the game, the bullets are actually slower, so they do fill the screen, but you can, weave in and out and kind of avoid them, and that's really what you're supposed to be doing. Just avoid them, and it's pretty easy. Just keep the trigger held. With the Xbox 360, it's just the right trigger is your fire button. You just keep it held down, and then use your left hand to maneuver out and around all of the bullets. There is, at least on the difficulty setting that I played it on the easiest one. There is, and I'm not sure if it varies from the different difficulties, but there's unlimited continue, so it doesn't matter how many times you die, you just keep going. You will get a continue screen after, I think, three deaths. You'll get a continue screen, and then it just, of course, just wipes your score out, and you start over. And there's 3 different modes, and I can't really tell the difference between them exactly, and I haven't been paying that close of attention. And I can't remember what they're all called. There's like slash mode, climax mode, and I can't remember the other one. Yeah, it's 3, and basically, I think what it says on the back here is maximize your score, 3 game modes with different scoring mechanics. So your score you get different ways, and as you kill things, blow things up, shoot things, you gather these orbs, these blue orbs, and at least on one, I think it's the slash mode, one of them, you press the X button after you've collected a bunch of those, and it gives you a shield that lasts a certain amount of time, and then it goes away. And then I think on one of the other ones, I don't know, it's difficult to explain because I don't fully understand it. I don't fully understand that mechanic of the game, but it's pretty cool. And if you did understand it, I'm sure it adds to the playability quite a bit more. Especially if you're playing for high score, if you're paying close attention to your score, trying to get the high score. And there are some achievements for high scores, and of course you have to get high scores without dying and that sort of thing, which I'm not so good at. So I don't really try for high score for now. I probably will after I give it several more playthroughs and get better. I've beaten this game several times now because it's not very long. I think there's, I want to say, just like 6 or 7 stages and then a boss, and then that's about it. But you can play through it. There's 3 different ships you can choose, and each ship has a different firing pattern. So that's how it kind of varies a little bit. So, and there's tons and tons and tons of achievement points, and if you're into that sort of thing like I am, it's kind of cool. But I'm not really into it. But I kind of like games like this that have that. It makes you feel like you're accomplishing something. I think that's the whole point of achievement points. But anyway, yeah, it's very Japanese. They speak Japanese in the game, and yeah, It's very popular over there. Very popular developer named called Cave. It's a cave shooter. That's a very common term, and this is one of them. And this is, I think, one of the only ones here in the States that's very easy to get a hold of. This, I've actually, since Dustin sent this to me, I've actually seen it in a GameStop. And it's not too expensive either, I don't think. I don't really remember. But it's, it's a really, really, really solid game. Definitely worth getting. So if you can find a used copy of this game, or a new copy, I don't know how much it is new, but it's a fantastic game. And I know that there are several other cave shooters available, even the Japanese ones, the import ones, that are not region locked, so you can play it on an American 360. Even though it's, everything's in Japanese, but the object of the game is pretty simple, shoot. So I'd like to collect some more cave shooters, but they're kind of pricey. So this is one of them that's it's very affordable and very, very fun and rewarding to play. Okay, next is the one that Steven sent me just the other day, and I actually beat all 3 games in this one. But once again, I beat it on easy just to get a good solid playthrough, so I could see what the whole of it, looks like, all 3 games, and test it out. I tested it with a few different ships, and yeah, it's really awesome. It's Raiden Fighters Aces, or Raiden Fighters Aces. This one's a vertical shoot 'em up, and this is the 3 ports of the arcade games: Raiden Fighters 2, and Raiden Fighters Jet. All 3 of them amazing, and they're pretty. I don't know. I've never seen the original arcade machines, but the graphically, they look like they're pretty good ports of the arcade. They didn't really change anything seemingly they didn't really change anything from the arcade. So that's the style of the game. The graphics don't pop, and aren't quite as HD as some of the newer shoot 'em ups, even like Raiden 3 or Raiden 4. But it's still a very awesome game, very arcadey. Lots of things to shoot, lots of things blowing up, and all 3 games are just a little bit different. The first one I actually thought was the most difficult. The first one, your ship moves just a little bit slower, and there's less ship options to choose. I think this is like 6 or 7 or 8, something like that you can choose from, and each one, with a slightly different firing pattern and different upgrades available. And there's either the rockets or lasers as your secondary weapon. You always have a spread of bullets, and it's upgradable. And then you can either choose between rockets and lasers to supplement that. And the rockets just go straight forward, pretty much. And some of the ships have seeking rockets, and this what I'm explaining right now goes through all 3 games. Some of them have seeking rockets where they come out and then they kind of either go all different directions or focus on one central enemy. And then the lasers do the same kind of thing. Some of them shoot straight forward. Some of them seek out an enemy, and then some of them just kind of have like a fan pattern, and they do the same thing every time as they burst outwards. So that's kind of cool that you can actually choose, which one you want. The little power up pops up and it flashes between the 2 letters, and you just pick which one you want, when you pick it up. And there's also power ups for your secondary ships that follow you, or options as they're sometimes called in other shoot 'em ups. And they follow you around. And the annoying thing about that is that the more of those power-ups you collect as they pop up all the time, sometimes the little ships will change patterns. So sometimes they'll just be following behind you, and sometimes they'll actually go and seek out enemies, and other times they'll be like in front of you, and they won't move. They'll just be right there. So and then other times, this one was actually my favorite, where they were behind you, but then they would weave in and out like this. So your bullet spread pattern would go all the way across the screen, and they don't last forever. They do go away. I think probably upon receiving damage. I don't know, but there's so many, at least in the easy mode, there's so many of those power-ups to get them back that you almost are never without them. there's unlimited. Yeah, I played on. There's a free play option on all three of them. I played it on easy with the free play option, and that basically means unlimited continues. But then when you get to the very last stage on all three games, it's the last boss that you have to face. When you get a game over, you go back to the beginning of the stage. In all the other ones, when you get a game over, you just start right back there and you go. But on the last one, you have to go back to the beginning of the stage. So you really have to be careful. If you're like me and you're not very good at these games, but you like to play them, you really got to conserve bombs and lives. You got to make sure that. For me, it's like I knew that I had to make sure I had to get to the last boss with at least the ship that I was in and one extra. Like I couldn't be on my last ship when I got there because I wasn't gonna make it. And I had a difficult time with some of them. I had to kind of learn the patterns of the ships and kind of avoid how to do it. But anyway, back to the original. The Raiden fighters, your ship moved kind of a little bit slower, and so because of that, I did notice, it was a little bit more difficult to play. The second one, you have a lot more ship options. I think there's like a dozen at least, and so there's several different ones that you can pick, and all with different firing patterns, of course, and the levels were good. They're all three pretty short, pretty short games. Jet, obviously being the third one in the series, looked the best of all of them, but I felt like it moved almost too quickly. I thought I beat Jet pretty easily. That was actually the easiest one to beat. So with all that said, I think I enjoyed 2 the most. I think it provided the most challenge, with level length and, just all around fun, I guess. But all 3 of them are amazing, and this is such a great value for your money. Steven picked this up for me at his local GameStop for like $10. So for $10 you get 3 games and virtually unlimited playability because of the sheer number of ships that you can choose from, with all the different power-ups and all the different ships with different bullet spread patterns and whatnot. And the difficulty settings, there's like 5 or 6 difficulty settings. There's like very easy, normal, advanced, and expert or something like that. So there's tons and tons and tons of replayability. And you can also capture your footage, like it allows you to do that. So if you, for some reason, you wanted to do a playthrough of this game or something, upload it on YouTube, you could do that. But you could also record your gameplay and kind of study it and learn the patterns too if you wanted to. So yeah, this is an amazing game. I recommend this for anybody who's a shooter fan, shoot 'em up fan, or even if you're not a shoot 'em up fan and you want to get one to play to try and ease your way into the series. I think this is really great because they are pretty easy. Like if you put it on the very easy mode, and with free play, I mean, you could just sit there and just shoot stuff and get good at it, and check it out and play it, and especially because it's arcade style and it's the older arcade style, so it's not so complicated. The object of the game is very, very simple. So I do recommend this for anybody looking to get into shoot 'em ups, or if you're already into shoot 'em ups and you don't have that game, why not? All right, so those are the 2 games that I've beaten recently. I've beaten several other games, but those are the ones I hadn't done videos on. But I just finished up Raiden Fighters Aces tonight. Last evening, my good friend, the one I talked about a while back that brought over some games, like the Resident Evil games and stuff, he came back last night, and we've hung out. I don't know if we've hung out since the last time that he brought games. Maybe not. But he came over again last night anyway, and he brought more games. Sadly, I did have to send the Resident Evils back home with him because I am not going to beat those games. There's no way. I just can't get into them, the controls. I don't know what it is, but he did bring over some other games. Sadly, he brought a couple that he didn't know I had already, so I sent those back with him. But that's cool because I'll never get through the Castlevanias that I kept and the Soul Reaver and all of these that he brought over that I did manage to to keep this time. So I'll just go ahead and show him. He brought over the Godfather Black Hand Edition for the Nintendo Wii. I remember this game. I had it for the original Xbox, but I never did play it. I found it in a bundle this summer with a bunch of Xbox games, and I ended up getting rid of it because I wasn't that interested. But he says it's pretty awesome, and of course he used like the Wii as like a light gun. So I'm kind of interested to try this out. I don't know what I'll think of it, but I'm interested to put it in and see what it's all about. In this game, the moment I saw this game, I immediately assumed that it was going to be a lot like Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox 360, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. But he said it's not exactly like Ninja Gaiden, but similar. So I'm going to check it out anyway. It's Tenchu Z for the Xbox 360, and it's of course pretty self-explanatory. It's an action game, ninja game. So I'm going to try that out too. Hopefully it's not as hard as Ninja Gaiden. This one he brought over, and I was actually going to put it in this morning, but yeah, I looked at the back, and it says that it's immerse yourself into an epic story with over 50 hours of gameplay. So I was hoping that this would be a lot shorter, but it's not. It's Enchanted Arms for the Xbox 360 by Ubisoft. It's RPG of some sort. I know nothing about it. And he said he only bought it because it was cheap, but yeah, I might put it in sometime eventually. And then he brought over 2 DS games. One of them I'm not sure about. Yeah, I think it might even be made by the same people that make Harvest Moon. It's Rune Factory, a fantasy Harvest Moon for the DS. I'm not sure if I'm going to dig this game too much because the Harvest Moon games just really don't appeal to me very much. And so yeah, I'm not sure that I'll even play this one, but I might try it anyway. And who knows, maybe I'll get addicted to it. I doubt it, but yeah, Rune Factory. And then this one is one I've actually been playing quite a bit. Just since he dropped it off, I played it for about an hour and a half already. And it's a lot of fun. It's actually still on my DS. It's Advance Wars, Days of Ruin for the DS. It's pretty awesome. It's a Nintendo game, actually. Strategy RPG. It's pretty fun. It's pretty simple. It's some sort of like meteors crash into the earth, post-apocalyptic kind of a thing. And you play as a cadet who survived, and you meet up with these people who are in the army, and you just set out to kind of bring order to the chaos. You're battling these army dogs who have rebelled, since it's the end of the world, let's do what we want, that kind of thing. So it's pretty fun, strategy RPG, not necessarily even RPG, just strategy game. So there you go. That's it. That's all the games. Just a few pickups here. No games, just some movies I want to go ahead and show off because I don't want to wait till my next pickup video to do it because whatever. I picked up these at the first garage sale of the season. Was at the local nursing home of all places, and I just wanted to see if they had anything. I picked up some stuff for the wife, some jars and some things like that. Just random things. And they actually had a bunch of VHS tapes that belonged to the nursing home. They had like a library of VHS tapes that they're getting rid of. So I thumbed through them a little bit, and I grabbed 4 of them. And I was hoping that they had more of this series here, but they didn't. I did pick up 3 James Bond movies. I was hoping that they had more because they were all part of a collection. It says on there somewhere. Can't find it. Nah, it doesn't matter. But I did pick up The Man with the Golden Gun, Roger Moore, and I did pick up Diamonds Are Forever, Sean Connery, and of course I picked up Dr. No. I'm very excited to have this one. I've never seen this one actually. I think this is the first one. I'm not sure. I don't know. Not a James Bond aficionado. I've only seen a few of them, and I really need to see some more of them. And then I picked up this one. This one's part of the collection too of these movies, but they didn't have any of the others, so I just picked this one up. It's Star Trek 6 on VHS. And the reason I can tell that it's part of the collection, because it doesn't actually say it, I don't think. But I've seen these in other places. I think in my local library, they had them in like this spine makes a picture of like at least the first 6 movies makes a picture of the Enterprise, and I just remember the color scheme on the side there. So I'm pretty sure that this is part of the video cutting off is a sign of me talking too much. So I didn't really want to leave you hanging like that. But that's really all I had to say. Was I needed to pick up the Star Trek movies on Blu-ray, because there's like a package deal. I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks, 35. I don't know how much it is, but probably worth it to have all the Star Trek. I might have said Star Trek a second ago. Star Wars. Screw it. I don't know. Star Trek movies on Blu-ray. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. I don't know when my next pickups video will be because I haven't bought anything recently, but it's probably a good thing, because that means I'm actually playing games and not buying more. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Doomwaves out.